So as you're signing in, your name, your role, and your years in that current role, if you would put that in chat, please, that would be awesome. As you can see, we have a wide variety of individuals with us today, and I'm just so thankful that you all are willing to take some time to talk about this initiative, this new initiative for GOCSD called Teacher Proud. It's a campaign that we have designed to really promote the idea of advocacy around our profession. So welcome to our session. I am Pam Hedgepeth, and I am so proud to say I am the new Executive Director for GOCSD. It's just my privilege to serve this great organization. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and just a couple of housekeeping things. If you would not mind, be sure to mute yourself if you're not speaking. But we, of course, want to hear from you. If you have a question, you may unmute and share that question, or you may put that question in the chat, and we'll be monitoring the chat all through our session. And as questions arise in the chat, I'll be bringing them to our host's attention so that she can address those for you. So again, this initiative, the Teacher Proud campaign, is designed to really advocate for our profession. As you all know, we in education don't always get the positive publicity that we deserve, because we know teachers and principals and leaders work super hard and do such great things for our students. But a lot of times our publics, they don't hear about the great things that we're doing. And so we are asking and challenging our districts to spend some time telling their stories about the great things that are happening with their teachers. And so the way this campaign will work is kind of a three-pronged approach. The big overarching thing that will be happening is GOCSD. The second Tuesday of every month, starting October the 12th, we'll be celebrating and lifting up teachers through all of our social media platforms. And then we challenge and hope that our districts will do the same thing on their social media sites and through their various platforms. So that's the second piece to the initiative. The third piece, and the part that we don't want to forget to really lift up and share, is that teachers and educators at the building level are sharing with their colleagues how much they appreciate working with them, and just noticing things that teachers are doing above and beyond, and just recognizing the great work that teachers are doing. So our hope is, if we in Southwest Missouri are lifting up teachers in our profession each Tuesday, the second of every month, that could actually become a tipping point across our region and across our state to really help others, our community members, our business members, all of our stakeholders, to recognize the great work and the importance of our education profession. So to get us started, I want to introduce our host for the day, Mrs. Josey McPhail, who is the Communications Director at Republic. But I would be remiss if I didn't point out that we have some other communication directors also on the call today that helped design this approach, this toolkit for recognizing our teachers. So I see Kim Connell from Hollister, who helped with this initiative. I saw Lana Snodgrass as well. Josey, did I miss anybody? Was there anyone else on the call that helped design the toolkit?
I don't think quite yet, but they may be popping in and out.
Well, I know Stephen from Springfield, Zach from Nixa, all were a part of this conversation to design this toolkit. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Mrs. Josey McPhail, and she's going to share with you about the toolkit and give you some ideas and strategies for really promoting teachers through the Teacher Proud campaign. So Josey, off to you.
Awesome. Good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for taking time out of your really busy schedules to sit in on this webinar. We'll try to be very succinct, but the hope is that you're able to take away at least a few nuggets on how that your district can be a part of this regional effort to really celebrate the teaching profession. So let's dive in here a little bit. Dr. Hedgepeth kind of went over the purpose of what Teacher Proud Tuesdays are, but I wanted to dive in just a little bit further on that. So not only are we able to celebrate the great things teachers are doing and what that can do for our region, but I think it's also important to keep in mind that celebrating teachers can be really great for the culture and the morale of your staff right now during this unprecedented kind of difficult school year as well. So I think it could be a self-serving participation as well, if that makes sense. And GOCSD. So I want to, as a communications professional, really compliment this organization for taking on the advocacy role in seeing the importance of advocating for our profession. Just want to appreciate that. And specifically for Teacher Proud Tuesdays, we're starting here with this toolkit, but there's plans to expand this to some different business and media partnerships. So we're looking forward to this really sort of blowing up with your help and seeing where it can go to help celebrate this profession. So that being said, let's dive in here.
Josey, I hate to interrupt, but I just want to point out that we are recording the session, just to let you know, because we will be posting this webinar on our on-demand catalog offering. So just know we are doing a recording.
Perfect. And that being said, I'm pretty casual. So if you come up with questions along the way, either use the hand raising feature or throw your question in the chat and we'll address it and brainstorm and figure out maybe what Teacher Proud Tuesdays could look like in your district. So again, let's dive in here to the toolkit. And Janetta has posted a link to that toolkit that was shared in the Go News and is also on the GOCSD website for future reference. So we'll be going through that. If you want to take a look there, hopefully it's a really helpful, easy to use resource for you. So, but that being said, the toolkit, again, was created by communication directors all across the region. Thank you again for your help and your feedback in making that possible, guys. But really, it's just that. It's a kit. It is a guide on some best practices and really a way that we wanted to make this as simple as possible for our districts to participate, because there's a lot on your plate as administrators, as communication professionals. So really the idea is that Teacher Proud Tuesdays needs to be your own. All of our districts are very different, right? So the celebrations should be no different. So I want to sort of give you permission, if you will, to use this toolkit as a simple guide to get the juices flowing and to really make this your own. It can be as simple and straightforward as you like, or it can be as extravagant as you like. And also something to keep in mind, start small, and then you can always add as you go along. So that being said, the toolkit specifically. So for Teacher Proud Tuesdays, the first thing you have to do is identify who you're going to celebrate, right? So there's a couple of different ideas on how you could go about doing this. So for some of you, you already have recognition programs, employee recognition programs in place. So why reinvent the wheel? Just tweak this a little bit and integrate the celebration piece on Teacher Proud Tuesdays through social media, through an internal or external newsletter, your website, however that needs to look. So that's one idea on how you could identify and celebrate. The next, and this is what we're going to do in my district in Republic, is to strategically identify some teachers or a teacher to celebrate and introduce. And by that, what I mean is that you could, as an administrative team, determine teachers from different categories to celebrate. So for us, that's going to look like we have 8 different buildings in our district. So for 8 months, we're going to highlight a building. And so I've asked our building principals to help me with this. We're going to highlight a veteran teacher, a first-year teacher, and then also a specials teacher. And for us, that's going to be in the form of doing a little interview with them on film, asking them about their why, helping us connect with what's going on inside their classroom to really just sort of introduce our teaching staff to our community while at the same time celebrating. You could do the same thing video-wise or with graphics, but that's the selection process that in our district we're going to utilize to identify who we're going to celebrate. Or the last option as an idea is you could come up with a form, a nomination process. You could keep this internal. Maybe you want to do some peer recognition and have that nomination process just internal to allow your teachers and your staff members to celebrate and highlight one another. Or maybe you want to open that up to your entire community and get students and parents and employees involved in that nomination process. So those are just some different ideas that different, I guess, routes that you could take, and just simply identifying how are we going to decide who we celebrate on the second Tuesday of each month. So a couple of things to keep in mind as you do those identifications is balance, right? So our teaching staff, they're very eclectic. They have all different backgrounds, all different expertise levels. So let's highlight that. So keeping in mind as you're looking and you're mapping out the whole year of Teacher Proud Tuesdays, and really this is just a best practice for anything that you're doing to share out about your district, is to balance highlighting different grade levels, teachers that teach different subject matters, teachers of different genders and races, and again, levels of expertise. I think often we highlight those veteran teachers primarily, which is great. They got a lot to share, but welcoming and celebrating our first couple of year teachers, that's also a great thing to do as well. Another thing to keep in mind if you go with the nomination process is to think about having a selection committee made up of, different administrators, throwing in some classified staff, putting some teachers in there, a small group that could take a look at those nominations from a non-biased perspective and then identify that way. Because the last thing you want to do when you're trying to celebrate folks is to be accused of playing favorites. So that's a best practice that you could think about incorporating if you go the nomination route. And then this says letting your nominations roll. So what I mean by that is, so if you do the nominations, you're going to have this open all year round, right? You want people to be telling you all year round the great things that are happening. Well, I'll tell you from experience that some months you'll get a lot of nominations and other months you won't get any. So whether they nominate somebody in January or they nominate somebody in September, for your September pool, utilize all of those nominees. So you have a big pool to continue taking a look at month after month. So that's the best practice. And then finally, you don't have to choose just one to celebrate. My goodness, we have so many teachers with so much to celebrate. So if there's a way that you can figure out how on the second Tuesday of each month to celebrate a group of teachers, by all means do that. And the toolkit gives some examples of that, and we'll showcase that here in just a little bit as well. But just kind of wanted to just share out, doesn't have to be just one teacher. If you can figure out how to share out about a group, let's do it. Okay, so let's see. All right, so on the screen here is going a little bit further. If you're utilizing a nomination form, some things to keep in mind. Google Forms, great option, right? If you're a Google district, and inside the toolkit, there's actually a template that you can click on, make a copy, and make it your own. That form has a couple of sample questions in it. You're able to use those or to add, delete, again, making it all about your district and those needs. You could also, if you don't want to go the route of a form, simply just share an email address that you want these nominations to come in from. Just be sure to ask them to share with you specific information if you go that route, the name of the person that they're nominating, maybe a couple of questions prompting them about why that they're nominating them, things of that nature. And then another option, I know a lot of districts utilize SurveyMonkey, and that can be utilized too. So again, lots of different tools that you can use to gather these nomination forms. But the first step is to gather nominations and to keep those nominations coming in throughout the year. So to do that, we have to message that. We got to keep that in front of people all year round that, hey, we need nominations. We need you to tell us who we should be celebrating. So inside the toolkit, there's simply some blurbs that if you want, you can copy and paste and put those in newsletters, put those on your social media accounts, put those on your website, and again, make them your own. And there's a graphic just like what's up on your screen, and make that your own. I have our tiger logo, the Republic Tiger logo in, but that template allows you to remove that and to plug in your district's logo. So I'm going to do a little plug here for a second for Canva. So we have created templates on these graphics in both Publisher and also in Canva. And if you're not using canva.com, I encourage you to do that. Whether you have a communications professional in your district or not, it's a very easy, straightforward way to make really nice looking graphics. There's a free version, there's also a paid version, but that's, you know, it just takes your graphics for whatever you're communicating about up a level. So anyway, there's templates in there that you can try out Canva if you haven't. So I'd encourage you to do that. And then let's talk about the message frequency. We wanted that to be easy for you as well. Because if it's something that you're asking people to do all year round, sometimes it's hard to determine how often do we ask people about that. So in the toolkit, it shares with you the frequency of when we feel like it would be good to keep this in front of people. Okay, so any questions so far on the process up to this point of just simply determining how you're going to celebrate, who you're going to celebrate, and then the nomination form process or the messaging on keeping this in front of people? Anything out there just yet? Okay, well, if not, then we will continue moving forward with the second step, which is sharing who you have decided to celebrate. So on that second Tuesday of each month, once you've identified your people, your Teacher Proud Tuesday honorees, we got to determine how best to get that out there. Again, I know I keep referring back to the toolkit, but I really hope that's a one-stop shop for you. But there's some sample messages. Again, you can copy and paste and throw that on social media on the second Tuesday of each month. Put that in some newsletters, put it on your website, and make it your own. Again, there's some sample graphics. So right now I want to show you a couple of examples of, let's say you just want to identify one teacher. So here's one way that you could do that very simply with a graphic. You can plug in a school photograph. And for those of you who utilize Live Touch, we have access in our office at any time to these photos, and we can download them. If you don't have that, and I would definitely ask your photography company how you can get access to that, so you can easily do that for this project or for future things. But I love the idea of celebrating the number of years these people are in education, and then maybe estimating the number of students that they've impacted. So how cool is it to look at this teacher right here? She has dedicated 28 years to education, over 560 students, and that's probably on the low number, have been in her classroom. That's pretty phenomenal, right? And I think for our patrons to take a look at that, that's a lot of kids. And I think that helps them connect with what our teachers do and deal with each day. And then also, I think it helps our teachers themselves take a look at these celebrations and go, wow, that's a lot. If you're a first or second year teacher, you can look at that and say, I can have the same type of impact that Mrs. Holt has had on almost 600 kids by the end of my career. Or 28 years in education. Wow, she's somebody who knows what's going on. That can be a mentor for me and help me continue to push through. So I think this can have a lot of different purposes, but that's one example of what this could look like. And then in your messaging, I encourage you to share that your district is participating in this regional effort to celebrate this across our area. So please don't forget to include that element. And then maybe grab a quote from this teacher as well that shares about their why or how it makes them feel to make a difference in the lives of students. So again, those are just some different ideas, but that's just a graphic example for you. And then likewise, if you want to do a group of teachers, here's one way that you could do that. But look at this. Can you, like, just from a community perspective, if you're, a soccer mom taking a look at this, you're generally very supportive of the district, but to really look and see, these 6 ladies have 84 combined total years in education. Some of them are pretty new. Some of them have been here for a while, but together, over 7,200 students have been impacted by the career choice that they have chosen. So anyway, those are just a couple of examples of what this could look like. And again, hopefully we've made it pretty easy for you to be able to implement this in your district on the second Tuesdays of each month. Okay, so earlier I mentioned video. And again, I think the whatever route you go for, if you just want to stick with graphics or you want to do video, the idea that you consistently do this on every second Tuesday of the month is what matters. So again, make this as small and manageable or as large and as big of a project as you would like to take on. So with video, here's a couple of ideas for you. So capturing the surprise. So what I mean by that is, let's say you utilize a nomination process and you have identified one teacher, it's an 8th grade teacher, and the superintendent and maybe the middle school principal want to go into second hour and surprise this teacher and let them know that they've been chosen because X, Y, and Z, information that you've gotten on that nomination about being a Teacher Proud Tuesday honoree. And you can capture that video and simply post that as your way to participate in Teacher Proud Tuesdays. So that's one idea that you could do. Going back to kind of what we've decided to do, what fits best for us in Republic, is we're going to interview teachers. Again, we've chosen 3 teachers in each building and want to get a wide variety of perspectives. So we're going to talk to a veteran teacher, a new teacher, and then a specials teacher. And I want to know from them their why. Why do they continue to choose being in the teaching profession? And then also, what's your favorite thing about teaching? And then finally, how does it make you feel to know, or when you have those kids that make those or have those aha moments, how does that make you feel to know that you're making a difference in the lives of students? So we think that by having them answer those questions, we're going to achieve our goal of celebrating teachers, but also boosting some morale internally, and then helping our community connect with the work that's going on inside our classrooms. And then finally, students, if you can utilize your kids to help celebrate teachers, in my book, that's like top notch. That's best practice anytime. Our kids have, they're our main audience, right? They're with our teachers day in and day out. They know them as professionals. They also know them as caretakers. So getting their perspective on why our teachers should be celebrated, I think could be really neat. And you can do that again through video, or you could also do that through a graphic campaign too, and just get quotes from kids. So again, make this your own. These are just some ideas that might work in your district. Okay, so regardless of the approach that you take, a couple of things that we'd like for you to keep in mind, again, so that we can promote that this is I'm struggling a little bit, a regional effort, is that you can share in your messaging, and again, there's some templates in the toolkit to help you do that, but share that we're participating as a regional effort. Always use the hashtag Teacher Proud. And yes, we love the idea of Teacher Proud Tuesdays, and that's primarily where our focus is right now. But something to keep in the back of your head is that anytime that you celebrate teachers through social media, use the hashtag Teacher Proud, right? I think that just that language itself helps permeate the importance of the role that our teachers have in our district. And then finally, logos. So in the toolkit, the GOCSD Teacher Proud and then just the general GOCSD logo is in there. So if you decide not to use the templates provided, no problem, no big deal, do your own thing. But we would request that you utilize those logos. So again, we can share across the region that this is a combined effort. So those are a few things to keep in mind. And then again, start small, start in a manageable way, what's doable for you in your district, and you always have the option to expand. And here are a couple of additional ideas of what that expansion could look like. And this to me is an easy one. You could simply encourage your own staff to participate utilizing their personal social media accounts. So what I'm thinking here in our district, I'd love for our superintendent to send out a message, whether that be an email or a quick video, the Monday before Teacher Proud Tuesday begins. So in this situation, it'll be October 11th. And that message is going to say, hey, we're excited to participate in this regional effort to celebrate our teaching staff. And we want you to participate as well. So what that could look like is that if you're a teacher, utilize your personal social media accounts to share your why, or to share about a teacher that has impacted your life, whether as a peer or as a student. And then the same goes if you're not a teacher, if you're a custodian or a counselor or whatever it may be, you too can participate by sharing about an impact a teacher somewhere along your life has had on you. So I think that alone will be super cool if we can get our staff members participating on an individual level. So that can go out in those individual messages from superintendent, principal, in a newsletter. That can look a lot of different ways, but something I think is a very easy way to participate in this effort. But also remind them to use hashtag Teacher Proud, because that's a big deal. All right, so taking a look at your local media options. So each of our districts look very different in regards to local media coverage and local media options, right? So local newspapers, you might reach out to them and see if they would partner with you. It could be as simple as you sharing with them word for word your blurb that you're putting out on social media, newsletters, whatever it may be, along with the graphic, and just ask them if they would print it. Or it could be they take it a step further and want to do an interview with that Teacher Proud honoree or the group of teachers. It can look a lot of different ways, but why not ask, okay? And the same with radio. If you have a local radio station that covers your district, this is great material for them and also for you. This will be something their listeners will want to hear from. Let's be honest, teachers are local celebrities, and let's take advantage of that. And then finally, local businesses, our local business community. So in your district, you may have a chamber of commerce, or you may have a Rotary organization. So one simple thing that you could do is to have your honoree or honorees attend those monthly meetings with you, to just introduce to our local leaders, our local business leaders and organization leaders, these great teachers and why they're being celebrated this month. You could also invite those organizations to help you put together a care package, some discounts or some gifts, things like that from their businesses to give to the honorees that you're celebrating for Teacher Proud Tuesdays. And then, you know what, if nothing else, ask that community to participate by sharing your social media posts. If nothing else, that's a really easy thing for them to do, is to click the share button and to get their constituents involved in that celebration as well. The same goes with marquee signs. Most businesses have a way of communicating with their constituents, and if they're willing to help integrate Teacher Proud Tuesdays in that, let's take advantage. Let's do that. Okay. So the last thing I'd like to leave you with is, again, the message of making this your own. You know what works best for your district, so let's do that. And I think it's also important to think about how you want to frame this, or you could do both of these things. Again, this can be a celebration, simply a celebration for the great work that our teachers do day in and day out. And or you can use this as a way to introduce your teaching staff to your community. Let's be honest, over the last 18 months, in most of our districts, our patrons haven't had the opportunity to be inside our facilities as much as they have in the past. So they've not been able to get to know our teachers on a personal or individual level. So this could take aim at that and help promote just getting to know our teaching staff. And extend this to the building level. So what I mean by that is, if your individual buildings have social media presences or have individual newsletters, encourage them to jump on board and to have some autonomy on what this might look like. So here in Republic, for example, I shared with you what we're going to do at the district level, right? But in each of our 8 buildings, I've sort of challenged them to utilize their school community audiences to celebrate just within their buildings as well. So that's going to look several different ways. One way is this next bullet point, because our building principals got a lot on their plate. So what's an easy way for them to do this? And one is create a Google form again, or some sort of form, and pose these 3 questions. Send it to everybody, right? And ask them, why do you choose to teach? What's your favorite thing about seeing a student succeed? And how many years have you been in teaching? That way, you as the administrator, the person who's putting this out on social media or in your newsletters or whatever, you have it all together, all at once. You can simply pull a picture, plug that in, and you know what? You can schedule your whole year's worth. If you can carve out an hour to do this, once you have the information, you're good to go. So that's one way at the building level. Some of my principals are going to be doing that. Another is the one-word challenge, right? So this ties in perfectly with Innovation Summit, where we heard from John Gordon about coming up with a one-word challenge. So in a couple of our buildings, our principal is going to either be doing a graphic or a video highlighting on the second Tuesday of each month our teachers sharing their one word and how that connects to their why of choosing to being in the teaching profession. So lots of different ideas here. I hope it was helpful and not overwhelming. So at this time, I would love to open it up for questions, but also to ask my fellow communication directors to weigh in on anything that I missed or any other ideas, or maybe if you guys might be willing to share what it will look like in your district as well.
I have a quick question. I came in late, like I didn't start. So did you guys share the presentation?
So I am happy to, Jeanette, if you care to drop in a link to the presentation, and then it's going to be recorded, and remind me where that's going to be posted.
It will be available on our website, and it's going to be in our catalog, and we'll push it out through our social media channels as well. I'll drop in another link to that slide deck right now.
Thank you.
And Josie, I want to say, I saw Heather last week in an event we had, and she was already sharing, things they'd already been doing and sharing about their teachers with the Teacher Proud hashtag. So
wonderful. Yeah. Heather, would you mind to share what that looks like so far in your district?
Let me see if I can pull up.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot, Heather.
That's okay. Yeah. So can you guys hear me while I'm trying to pull this up real quick?
You bet.
So what we've done is we've asked we have 6 teams of teachers. Each team has a social studies and language arts, science, and ELA teacher. So they're supposed to send me pictures and a write-up of what they're doing in the class that week. We also have what's called ACIs, areas of career interest. So during that, so those people and all of our elective teachers, pretty much I get like 40 posts a week. And then we post what's going on in classes. Let me share now. And just kind of look and see what they're looking at. Can I share? Yeah. Can you guys see my page?
Yes,
yes.
It's coming up now.
So like this one says, Mrs. Nelson's class approached the English colonies like chefs today, like a meal with different courses. Groups developed a presentation with each student creating a part of it. They each had a secret ingredient. Students introduced their colonies in the front of the class in a quick, concise presentation with a little flair. Unlike cooks, they are presenting in the mood lighting. Teacher Proud Tuesday. This is the same. Like this is a Mr. Miller's law enforcement. This is our woodshop class. This is our capstone kids.
Wonderful.
This is one of our math classes. And it talks about, this is an English class. And these are all from last Tuesday. So
very good. So you do several all throughout the day.
We do.
Right? Awesome.
Yes.
I love that idea of utilizing those Tuesdays to really just flood your social media accounts. Absolutely. Love that idea.
We actually do it every day. So if you went to a Monday or Thursday, like I probably put 7 posts out a day. Except for Saturday and Sunday, I take those days off. And so I do it every day, anywhere from 7 to 10 every day. But on Tuesdays, we just had the hashtag.
Perfect.
So.
Awesome.
Jeanette, for putting that in there.
I appreciate you sharing. Thank you, Heather. I see some of my fellow colleagues on here, communication professionals.
So I was just going to comment.
Oh, good. Thanks, Lana. I would love to hear what West Plains is planning to do.
Well, for our very first one, we are actually going to recognize our Teacher of the Year from last year. So, and then from that point, I'm going to open it up for community nominations. And then I am going to somehow, I haven't figured out yet, we do a Teacher of the Year, obviously, I just mentioned that, but use this nomination process for our District Educator of the Year. So I haven't figured that out yet, but I'm going to work it all together, and I'm going to use the template that Josie has created because it's amazing. Thank you very much, Josie. I mean, you've made everything so easy to participate, and I really appreciate that. So that's really what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with our Educator of the Year, and then I'm going to open it up to the community after that and let them start making some nominations. And I'm probably just going to do it once a month. Is that kind of what we're all thinking, or is it every Tuesday? I couldn't remember.
The effort is once a month, the second Tuesday of the month. Absolutely, yes. And I love how you're planning to take a program you already have in place and just integrate. So why reinvent the wheel if you've already got something rolling? Love that idea.
Well, because we're going to continue to brand that. We're going to get the information out through our newsletter, through social media. So I believe that there'll be some great nominations throughout the year. So I hope that works out well for us. So I'll let you know.
Yes, keep us posted. And I think that's something we plan to do. Tell me if I'm wrong, guys, but on the toolkit, we want to continue to build that out. And as districts have successes and implement these campaigns, we want to share what that looks like so that other people can take a look at that.
Yeah.
Kim, have you identified specifically what you guys are going to be doing?
Sorry. So we're going to continue what we're already doing. We already do a Tiger Tuesday. And so every Tuesday we highlight either a teacher, a staff, or a student. We have a graphic that's our Tiger Tuesday graphic that the person's picture goes in, their name, title, and then we have a survey that they fill out. If it's our younger students, the teacher fills it out for them, but focusing on teachers. The teacher fills out the survey, just has some different questions about their position, how many years in that position, other positions they've had in Hollister, their experiences prior to joining Hollister, what they love about teaching, what they love about the Hollister community, and what they're doing when they're not at work, and then like other things they would like to share with us. And this is our third year doing this, I think. So I just have a Google sheet that has all of our teachers on it. And so then I just make a note. I'll get in the date when I use them. We have not, in 3 years, we have not got to everybody yet. So we'll just continue to, and so I just it's just like really randomly once a week, once every other week, whatever. I just send it out to a few different teachers because some of them are good at filling them out, some of them not so much. And so I always send out a few. That way I have some to pull from. Like right now, I'm struggling because I need a staff member for next week that's not a teacher, and I can't get any of the staff to fill it out. So we may end up doing a teacher 2 weeks in a row. But anyway, so on the second Tuesday of the month, we'll just always make sure it's a teacher, and we'll add the GOCSD Teacher Proud hashtag and all of that. So we've kind of already got it there. We're just transitioning a little bit to make it follow this.
Love that idea as well. And I loved what Kim said about, she had a question in there about asking teachers what they did outside of teaching. I think that is a great addition that I'm going to add on mine, because I think it's important that our community connect with the fact that our teachers are actually people as well, and have things that they enjoy and like to do outside of working with our kids. Love that addition. Any other questions or ideas that anybody would like to share, add to the conversation?
I would like to throw out, please tag GOCSD MO with these posts for selfish reasons that will make it easier for me to see them and like them and share them. But that's in addition to the hashtag would also be helpful. GOCSD MO.
Great, good. Thank you for that, Janetta. I had forgotten to include that on my slides. Okay, well, the last thing that I have here is just another shout out to my colleagues that participated in putting this all together and making it possible. And again, we'll continue to add to it as districts implement this. But we're looking forward to kicking this off in a big way in a regional effort on October 12th. So with that, I'll turn it over to Dr. Hedgepeth.
Thank you, Josie, for that great information. And I hope that you all see this is something we can all do and collectively make a difference for teachers in our area. Just as a side note, we want people to feel good about the work they do, and we do not celebrate enough in our profession. And so this is really being intentional about being a teacher, and hopefully teachers will stay in the profession because they feel valued, and maybe even recruit some more kids that want to be teachers. We need great teachers. Finally, there is a reflection form, and I think, Janetta, can you put that in the chat as well? We would love your feedback about this session. We are recognizing we're down to the wire. Our 45-minute time frame is up, but we hope to offer additional opportunities like this to build your capacity to do the work you need to do. So your reflection form being filled out would be so helpful for us here at GOCSD. Another shout out for Josey for the great presentation and for the team that helped put together the toolkit, and can't wait to celebrate teachers. First time October the 12th. Thank you all so much for being a part of this conversation and looking forward to that feedback as well. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.